Hi everybody, this is another video about the carnivore diet. I posted a recent update about my 2 years and counting being on a meat-based diet, previously on a strict carnivore diet for a couple of months. And somebody posted a question on that video basically saying like, why are you not eating vegetables? As per usual, nothing that I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. It's for informational purposes only. If you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. The whole idea of the carnivore diet is to just eat basically animal flesh. So whether that's beef, chicken, turkey, fish, eating their muscle meat, eating their organs, and then a lot of folks do include eggs on the carnivore diet, and also some also include dairy products, although a number of folks react negatively to dairy products, in the form of milk and cheese and things like that. Butter is usually also included on the diet. A lot of folks don't react negatively to butter, although some do. So basically just animal protein and or animal products, I should say. Could certainly have animal fat like pork lard and beef tallow, and chicken schmaltz is the chicken version of tallow or lard, and that's pretty much it. And salt usually is allowed on the diet. So the whole premise behind it, to my understanding, is that when one is eating a carnivore diet, it's very, very nutrient dense. So just meat protein is, or meat animal products are very dense in protein. If you look at the amount of, say, almonds or beans or soy, well, soy is a bean, or seeds or whatnot that you need to consume, like say to get 20 grams of protein out of those sources versus say 20 grams of protein in an animal source, you can see that the amount is a lot denser. Like you need a much smaller volume because animal products are so dense in protein, especially the muscle meat. So it's a very nutritionally dense diet. And then also a carnivore diet is also free of all of the quote unquote plant toxins that are present in various plants. So I just have to close my laptop. I've had the question up and can see myself in my peripheral vision because my video is playing, and oh man, very distracting. Okay, much better. And I'm saying plant toxins in quotes because that's what they're referred to as, and that is literally what they are, but I'm not saying that in a bad way. We know that plants produce certain defense molecules to protect themselves from them being eaten. They produce things like salicylates and oxalates and histamine, lectins, various things that are not very good for the creatures that are consuming them. And indeed, you take certain like little bugs and smaller critters, and they eat a spinach leaf, and the oxalates that are high in spinach, like to my understanding, literally shred the insides of those bugs. So the bugs have evolved to know, like, hey, better not eat spinach. Although some bugs, I'm sure, have evolved mechanisms to counteract those oxalates, and so the spinach still gets eaten. But it's really just everything wants to live. We certainly think we tend to anthropomorphize animals and things like that because they're so cute and cuddly. We love our pigs and cows, and especially when they're babies and all of that. But at the end of the day, plants don't want to die either. It's not like the spinach is like, aha, I'm so glad I'm growing big and strong, so somebody can come along and eat me. But they don't have faces, so it's a little bit easier to wrap our heads around maybe eating animal or eating vegetable matter. But the reality of it is that everything that's alive wants to stay alive and grow. The one exception one could argue is fruit, because there are benefits to the plant. If the animal eats the fruit and then deposits the waste and the seeds are in the fruit, then hopefully another fruit tree will grow off somewhere along the way. But generally speaking, like the leaves and roots and things like that, the tubers and whatnot from different plants don't want to be eaten. So these plants produce these defense chemicals and or molecules, not chemicals, and they're toxic to certain critters. It turns out that some humans, depending on what's happening with their gut microbiome and their individual biochemistry, etc., their genetic predispositions, some of us are susceptible to the effects of those plant defense molecules as well. So some people are intolerant to oxalates, some are intolerant to histamines, some are intolerant to salicylates, etc. And so as such, folks who are dealing with skin issues, digestive tract issues, chronic fatigue issues, pain issues, neurological issues, some of them feel a lot better when they remove those certain food defense or those plant defense molecule substances from their bodies. As I've seen in practice many times, being someone who focuses primarily on treating complex chronic illnesses, I've had many patients with like, I just don't know what to eat. I've tried this diet, didn't really help, tried that diet, or some diets help this and some diets help that, but I haven't been able to find the perfect diet for me. I seem to react to everything. Well, sometimes doing a trial of a carnivore diet is a really good choice because it's ultimately in my opinion, it's really the ultimate hypoallergenic diet. It's a diet that is low in all of those plant defense compounds. And also a diet that is, if you've heard of a low FODMAPs diet, these certain types of carbohydrates that are more easily turned into gas by the various microbes that are in the digestive tract. Well, a carnivore diet is a no FODMAPs diet. It's not low FODMAP, it is no FODMAP. So not only are there no defense molecules, but also there are no carbohydrates to speak of that the microbes can ferment and turn into gas. That's why so many folks who go on a strict carnivore diet will say, oh my gosh, I used to be bloated out to here, and now my bloating's just gone. And indeed, not to get too personal, but having been on a strict carnivore diet and worked with various permutations, it's amazing the amount of lack of gas that's part of the diet. I mean, I've learned, and my understanding is that it's normal to pass a certain amount of top end gas and bowel gas throughout the course of the day. When a person is eating strict carnivore, it's like a zero gas for the majority of folks who go on that type of diet, because it's just so there's no fermentable carbs at all for the bacteria to eat. Now, there are some microorganisms that can ferment fats and other and proteins and whatnot, but it's much harder and less common, shall we say. So I thought this was going to be a really quick video. It's elongating here. The bottom line is that the carnivore diet has no vegetables on it for those various reasons. And as I said in the previous video and some of the other previous videos, a lot of folks will not everybody, but a lot of folks will feel better when they're on a strict carnivore diet, but eventually get to the point where they feel better when they start reintroducing some foods again. And that's for various reasons. Sometimes it's because of the easier energy source that carbs provide for folks. That's why I'm eating more carbs, because it helps with meeting my fitness goals and whatnot. And then some folks just seem to feel better not being on a strict carbohydrate diet for various other reasons. It may be because they're not eating as many organ meats, and so they need a more diverse nutrient profile from eating plant matter potentially. So it's kind of a nuanced, individualized thing. I'm personally, I eat some little bits of vegetable here and there, but again, where I'm taking certain multivitamins and feeling really good eating the way that I'm eating, I just haven't had any great compulsion or motivation to say, oh, I should definitely go back and start eating salads and eating tons of veggies as I used to once upon a time. I generally feel healthier following a meat-based diet, so that's what I'm doing, and so far have not been suffering for being off the veg for the most part. So thank you for the question. If anybody has any questions on this topic or anything else, just post it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can.